When you get gut dysbiosis, which leads to leaky gut, what happens there is, remember guys, I've said this 100 times, 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So when you get leaky gut, that's when your gut lining is like spread apart. It's not keeping things inside like it should be. And then you have these foods, these particles that get into your bloodstream. They get outside of your gut lining, and your immune system starts to flare up. And then guess what happens? It leads to autoimmune disease, guys. That's how this happens. When you heal your gut, you typically heal your autoimmune disease. That's exactly how I healed my hypothyroidism. Okay? I got rid of Lyme disease. I healed it because I starved that disease out. I didn't feed it sugar. I ate a very strict, clean ketogenic diet, and I did not feed that disease. Sugar feeds diseases. Lyme bacteria, it needed the sugar. It needed that. That's how it lived. I just decided to stop making my body a place it wanted to fucking live in. Hey guys, Janna here. Thanks for tuning in. Last week I talked about healthy ways to lose weight fast. And that was part 1. So this is going to be part 2 today. If you listened to last week's episode, then you remember I talked about how abs are made in the kitchen, and 90% of weight loss is determined by what you eat and what you don't eat. And I know that there's a huge misconception, right? That it's all about working out and eating right? But like, you have to work out. Like, if you don't work out, you're not going to lose weight. That's absolutely false. And you didn't gain weight by working out. Gain weight by what you ate, right? So it's going to be what you don't eat and how you eat that helps you lose weight. And so I also shared my little story of a year where I couldn't work out because of surgeries. And I learned from true experience that indeed was true, right? It's like you learn it in nutrition school, but it's actually when you experience it, right? And so abs are made in the kitchen, right? And I talked about how you really, unless you're just an athlete, you don't need to eat 3 meals a day. 2 meals a day is plenty. Most of us have a desk job, and we do a lot of sitting because of our work, and we're at a computer. And you're not really burning a lot of calories doing that. So you don't need a whole lot of calories in. Also, low fat is not gonna work. Healthy fats help fight fat. So lowering your carb intake, getting rid of all the gluten, all the wheat, definitely getting rid of all processed foods, artificial sweeteners, dyes, processed foods, and lowering your sugar intake. Sugar is one of the worst things, if not the worst thing you can put in your body. And you're going to get rid of fruit juices, but that's from a fruit. I understand it is, but it's still sugar. And when you put all the sugar in your body and all these starches and all these carbs, what happens is that your body constantly needs that insert of glucose to have your energy up. And when not, you're constantly have dips, right? Your blood sugar crashes. So lunch should be your biggest meal of the day. And by biggest meal of the day, quantity, healthy fats, vegetables, clean sources of protein. Okay, that's your lunch right there. And if you need carbs, lunch is the time you want carbs. And complex carbs, definitely always gluten-free carbs. And preferably I'd rather your carbs just be from a starch, right? Like sweet potatoes or white potatoes are actually really good, but they're best when they have been cooked and then cooled. When they go through that process of being cooked and then cooled, they actually become a prebiotic, meaning food for the probiotics in your gut, and actually can be very beneficial for your gut health. So if you need your carbs, keep it at lunchtime, because if you eat them at dinner, most people after dinner, they just relax, they chill, they go to bed. What do you need those carbs for, right? And then my other tip I shared last week was dinner should be your lightest meal of the day, because your digestive system slows down just like you do at the end of the day, right? Worked all day, you get tired. And then another big one is that dinner should be a minimum of 3 hours before bedtime. Digestion is a north to south process, right? And you put it in north and it goes down south, right? So tell me what happens if you lay down, right? You're kind of fighting gravity a little bit on the north to south. So here's what happens when you eat a big dinner. Many of us do, and I get it. I get it. I got 3 kids and a husband, and sometimes dinner, well, it is dinner Monday through Friday. Dinner is the time that you convene. It's the time you talk and get, that time together. And, I understand that, but remember, it's about the time together. Can't you still have the time together if you're maybe not eating? I'm pretty sure you can. And the reason I say that is because I would ideally like you to eat 3 hours before bedtime. And if your kids can't do it and they got extracurricular activities or whatever, you can. And then when they eat dinner, you can sit right there with them and you still have the same time. Okay. So if you go to bed around 10 o'clock, honestly, around 6:30, you need to start eating dinner. By the time you finish dinner, then you have your plenty of time. So when you eat a big late meal, and then on top of it, maybe it's within an hour or two, you go to bed, what happens is your food is not properly digested. Okay. So let's say that your meal is 3 or 4 hours before bedtime, right? You're like, well, I already do that. But let's just say dinner's your biggest meal of the day. So that's when you finally get to hang out with your family and unwind. Your digestive system slows down at the end of every single day, regardless of how long it is between your last bite at dinner and when you lay down to go to bed. But when your digestive system slows down, it doesn't properly digest food. And if you just gave it a whole lot to digest at the end of the day, it's not going to get all properly digest. And what happens is the food, grossly enough, it just sits in your gut and it rots. That leads to gut issues like gut dysbiosis, and that leads to leaky gut. When you get gut dysbiosis, which leads to leaky gut, what happens there is, remember guys, I've said this 100 times, 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So when you get leaky gut, that's when your gut lining is like spread apart. It's not keeping things inside like it should be. And then you have these foods, these particles that get into your bloodstream. They get outside of your gut lining, and your immune system starts to flare up. And then guess what happens? It leads to autoimmune disease, guys. That's how this happens. When you heal your gut, you typically heal your autoimmune disease. That's exactly how I healed my hypothyroidism. Okay. I got rid of Lyme disease. I healed it because I starved that disease out. I didn't feed it sugar. I ate a very strict, clean ketogenic diet, and I did not feed that disease. Sugar feeds diseases. Lyme bacteria, it needed the sugar. It needed that. That's how it lived. I just decided to stop making my body a place it wanted to fucking live in. Okay? I didn't eat a goddamn blueberry for 9 months. Now that might seem excessive to you, but read my book and read what the symptoms were like in living with Lyme disease and tell me if you wouldn't do what you had to do to live. Right? So anyways, that was last week, right? That's just me giving you like a little preview of what we talked about last week, just so we're all caught up. Now, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, you most certainly don't need to listen to it before this one, but I would listen to it after this one because it's going to take both of the episodes combined together for you to get my tips that I give my clients who successfully lose weight. The other big thing I shared last week was you need to know your why. Well, Janna, I want to lose weight because I want to be skinnier. Summer's coming up and, we're going on a trip, and who doesn't? I get that, right? Of course, like I shared last week, there's a particular size I like to stay in. And I also shared that I gained 7 pounds this past winter. I have no problem sharing that. Look, as a person who's overcome 3 eating disorders, I mean, that's huge for me to be able to share that. I used to have, it used to be really bad for me if I gained like half a pound. So I've come a very long way. And I'm okay with that. I think in some ways I look forward to the holidays and wintertime because that's when I like give myself that grace. to indulge a little bit and eat a little bit more than normal. But you know what? What I do notice is that I get a little more sluggish. I get a little more tired. I'm bloated. I don't like the way it looks on my gut. And I do weigh myself every single day. I do. Now, like I said last week, I was on a really big talk show just the other day, a radio talk show that'll be coming out soon. And and they asked me, or the guy asked me, he's like, Janna, so what do you tell your clients about weighing themselves? Do you recommend a scale? And I said, yes, I do. And there's two reasons for it. Number one, it is literally for a marker. It is for a reference. It is not about what society is trying to make it into, which is shaming, fat shaming, and all this other stuff. We all know what a damn scale is for. But the main reason, the other main reason, so too, number one, it's a marker. I need to see what my clients weigh because it's not just that. I know your height. I know all this other stuff, right? And I want to see where are we starting out. Look, muscle weighs more than fat. So if you start working out, you might also be losing weight at the same time, but the scale's not going to show it. But for people who really need to lose weight, I need to see what that number is. But the reason I have them do it, so that's the reason I need them to do it. But here's the other reason I need my clients or want them to weigh themselves. If they cannot weigh themselves, and I make my clients have to send a picture with their feet on, and they have to send it to me because I keep it in my file, right? Because I can't remember everybody's stuff. Here's the thing. If you cannot get up there and weigh yourself, you're not ready to work with me. That might sound harsh, but it's not. Because I have come to find out that if you're dead serious about losing weight the right way, hence the right way, and doing what it takes, then I'm going to give you my time and my energy. Because here's the thing, if you're coming to me to lose weight or you're trying to lose weight, don't you already know the scale's not gonna be in your favor and be what you want it to be? Okay. So what's the issue? Get up there and weigh yourself, face the music, know what you're up against. Because let me tell you something, as you lose weight and you see that the advice I'm giving you is working, then you see that number go down. It feels really damn good. Now, on the other hand, I teach my clients, it's going to plateau. It's going to get stagnant. That's totally normal. It might be like that for a week or 10 days. That's okay. That's normal. So the first 2 weeks, like I shared last week, the first 2 weeks of a new way of eating, of intermittent fasting. And when I say intermittent fasting, I want you to go at least 14 hours between the last meal of the day and the next bite of food the next day. Okay. So you got done eating dinner at 6:30 p.m., right? So at 8:30 a.m. the next day, it's been 14 hours and you're ready to eat some food, but slowly ease your way into it. Breakfast should never, ever, ever have tons of sugar and tons of carbs. It really just needs to be healthy fats and protein. Now, if you're fixing to go work out hard, sure, have some complex carbs. But breakfast should be pretty light. A heavy breakfast is probably going to make you feel a little bit tired and sluggish. All right. Now, as you eat right and your blood sugar starts to balance out, you're going to notice you can fast a little longer. I personally like to go 16 hours, 18 when I'm like where I'm at today. Like right now, I'm fixing to go on a trip for a week and I'm trying to shed a little bit of weight because the clothes that I want to wear, they'll look better and I'll feel better in them. And I don't want to go buy new clothes. So I do my super restricted eating. But you need to know I've been doing this for 10 years now, 11 years. So I'm very seasoned at that. If you've never done intermittent fasting, I don't want you to go any more than 2 hours than right now that you constantly do. So most people average 12 hours. They don't realize it's fasting, but that's what the word breakfast stems from, right? Break your fast. But most people go at least 10 hours, if not already 12. So you're just going to tack on an extra 2 hours for that the first week and slowly ease your way into it. So today, that is just me going over everything that I did in episode 1. Even if you listen to it, I'm sorry, the episode last week, even if you listen to it, because I want to just put that into and force that into your brain. Now, let's talk about this part 2. Let's talk about what to do after the first 2 weeks. So the reason I like to, once again, have my clients just change the way they eat, what they eat, and the timing and amounts, and go at least 2 weeks without working out is because you need to give your time and your body time to adjust. If not, you're going to really, really mess up your blood sugar. Your body needs to just ease into this, right? If you do it both at once, you're probably going to set yourself back a little bit. You're going to feel tired, you're going to feel hungry, and you're going to feel like crap. You can't change the way you eat, especially if you've been doing a lot of carbs and sugar and then completely stop doing it and not feel those side effects, right? So allow yourself to just adjust a little bit. And then my favorite way to exercise to lose weight, and just my favorite way in general of working out, because it is just it is just a way of working out that is fast and it works and it's fast results. It's high intensity interval training. Now I do this in both cardio and in strength. What that is when you are going really, really fast as hard as you can for a minute, minute and a half, and then you ease back and you get to where you're just, let's say you're running for a minute and a half and then you're going to walk for a minute, right? And it's what it is just about when your heart is about to get back to normal pace, you go at it again. And you repeat this cycle for 15, 20 minutes. Your body has to work harder each time to get back up to that full speed. You burn a ton more calories. You also set the tone for your metabolism, because your metabolism is going to stay going faster longer throughout the day, right? And so when you work out like that, it really, really is a fat burner. It helps your body just dip into those fat stores. Now, what I do is a ketogenic diet, and I've done that for 11 years, right? That's what got me well from Lyme disease. And I know what that does for the body. And I don't recommend all my clients do that, because some just, everybody's body is a little different, right? And I get that. But when you incorporate a ketogenic diet as well with the intermittent fasting, and then once your body's used to all that, then I normally will have my clients do a fasted workout. That is not something you can do until your body has adjusted to the other things first, which are eating super clean and intermittent fasting. So that might be 6-8 weeks, and then you can slowly get into it. Um, at least a month if you're just like not super patient. Um, but always listen to your body, because if you start to ever feel lightheaded or dizzy or just like your blood sugar's off, you need to stop, and you need to make sure that you have electrolytes every single day. Every time you sweat, your body is sweating out electrolytes. So you need to replenish them. And I'm not a Gatorade fan. I absolutely no electrolytes that contain artificial sweeteners or dyes. My favorite one that I use is Ultima Replenishers. I love their electrolytes. They're only sweetened with stevia. There's absolutely no dyes. They're on the go packets, and they're not too salty. And I like to have 2 of those a day when I'm working out and just trying to just debloat and shed a little more weight, because they help flush your body out. They're good for your lymphatic system. And then my other tip is to make sure you are working on your lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system is your body's detoxification system, right? So anytime you do an overhaul of what you eat and you start to eat cleaner, your body's going to detox a little. Also, when you're working on losing weight, you want to help make sure and ensure that process, right? And help push it along. So anything that you can do with your lymphatic system is going to help you that much more. And my favorite things I like to do, there's 3 of them. I absolutely love my detox baths. Okay, that's hot water, not so hot that it's unsafe or uncomfortable, but a nice warm hot bath. And I do 4 cups of Epsom salt, and I like to soak in it for at least 15 minutes, no more than 20. And the Epsom salt and the magnesium in it and the hot water, it just helps your body to detox and pull out toxins. My absolutely favorite way, honestly, is my infrared sauna. I have a walk-in one, and then I use the higher dose infrared sauna blanket. Infrared sauna is so, so beneficial for your health, not just your lymphatic system, but your nervous system. It helps with your joints and muscles, especially if you've had surgeries or you're in a lot of pain. Um, it's grounding, it's relaxing. I absolutely love it. And um, Exercising is also another way that you can help with your lymphatic system. But my favorite ways are the infrared sauna and detox baths. And then I also love to do dry brushing. Dry brushing, especially for women, is super beneficial. Your lymphatic system is just right underneath your skin, so it doesn't really take a whole lot to activate it. Your cardiovascular system has your heart to help pump it, right? Your lymphatic system doesn't have a little motor, so you have to help it along by movement, right? Sweating, like the infrared sauna, the detox baths. But dry brushing with a bristle brush and go in a circular motion from your feet all the way up and down until you end at your heart. It helps to activate that. But here's the thing why I said with women, it actually helps with cellulite. And I notice a difference in my legs. I really focus a lot on my abdomen and the buttocks and the legs, especially above the knee when I dry brush. I do it every single day. I do it in the morning before I get dressed, and I do it before I take my baths. So that will help you a lot. It also just feels really good, especially if you feel like you get bumps or things on your back. So incorporating all these tips and exercising the right way. Look, you don't need to be in the gym for an hour. You can do 20 to 30 minutes of a high intensity workout, and you're going to see results fast. I promise you, you will. So try these and let me know what you think and how it goes. And yeah, I love your feedback. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all have a really great day.